So you want to become a great public speaker and grow your business. In today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly what's needed to make that happen. So stay tuned. Public speaking is a great way for you to grow your business. I mean, look, we got to look at why that is. Number one is it allows you to scale your time. Instead of speaking one-on-one, coffee meetings, going networking groups, you can go stand up in front of an audience, 20, 30, 50, 100 plus 200 plus people, and get your message out there. What happens in that time is that you are, number one, you are being seen by a lot of potential clients. Number two, you're doing it in a place of high authority, because even if your audience, they don't know who you are, the fact that you're on stage, what happens is a transfer of trust. So if they know the organizer of the event or the event itself carries credibility, you're instantly positioned as an expert. So if you go up on that stage and you share a message that resonates, then of course you're going to be positioned as an expert and their audience is going to look at you as such. So this is a really good way for you to grow your business. I've had clients that started off with me. I'm thinking of one client in particular, Jay. When he started with me, he was deathly afraid of public speaking. Would say no. He had a great business. It was going well, but he had aspirations to grow it, but also to make a major impact in the world. And when he came, we started off, the first step was to get going and to get comfortable putting himself out there, because you can have the desire to be a great public speaker and to build your business, but if you're not speaking in public, you're not going to do it. So that's the first thing that we did with Jay. I've worked with him from there to growing, and his company has gone up like 4x since we started working together, going from being deathly afraid and avoiding speaking at all costs to now being able to speak at conferences. He's become the industry leader in his industry, and it's paid off handsomely. Now, what I want to do first, how do you become great? The first thing is you got to be bad. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is you might be thinking, Lucas, why would I want to be bad? But that's where most people give up, is that they are afraid of looking bad, so they don't even get started. But as the quote goes, every master was once a pro, every pro was once an amateur. I mean, that's the whole thing there, is that are you committed? Are you willing to look bad when you start off? You're not going to be great. Now, a couple things. Number one is there's some mindset shifts that are absolutely essential to get started if this is your goal. Number one, of course, is accepting that you're not going to be good at the beginning. That is okay, because how you frame around that is most of your competitors, they're not going to have the courage to even get started. So you can be bad at speaking in public, but that's better than someone who's not even up on that stage. The fear of public speaking is consistently ranked as one of the most common fears there is. So you don't have to be good to stand out. You just have to actually be up there physically standing out. And there's going to be a percentage of the audience that's going to resonate with your message. Even if you're not the most polished speaker, even if you're not amazing in your delivery, just getting up there and sharing your message, there are going to be people that look at that and go, that's the person I've been waiting for. So number one is really just getting started. That's one mindset shift that has to happen. And framing it that you don't need to be good to get started. You just need to get started. Because step one in this journey, and there's three real phases that you're going to go through. Ironically, the phase that I speak about, they mirror my TEDx talk, which is about how you can reclaim your voice. And there's three distinct phases in that talk. It's the exact same three phases that I'm going to share today in this video. And again, this is consistently what I work with people to go from being deathly afraid to becoming comfortable, to then putting themselves out there, then getting on bigger stages. It's the proven process that works. So phase number one is finding your voice. Okay, you need to find your voice, because what I mean by finding your voice is saying yes, whereas in the past you would say no. Then maybe you had some situations where you weren't safe to speak. You didn't feel safe. You had traumatic experiences. You were humiliated. If so, you're not alone. Most of my clients have had an experience like that, whether it was childhood, whether it was their parents, whether it was their friends, whether it was school, whether it was work or university. Most of my clients have had some experience where they put themselves out there and they didn't feel safe to speak, or they were humiliated. And so public speaking becomes seen as a threat. So you could be wanting to grow your business, seeing that it's possible for you to do that. You see the upside, you look at it and go, I'd love to be on a big stage. But if you're in the mindset that it's also a threat to do so, survival is always going to win and you're going to avoid these situations. So that's the first thing, is that all you're doing in the beginning is trying to find your voice. It's not about being great. It's about getting started. So now that we got that, that's the first step. Get clear on your message, start building yourself up there, finding your voice and saying yes to opportunities. Once you do that and you start gaining relevant experience, what's going to happen is you're going to go from just saying yes and just not being very good or just doing the very basics. That's the next phase, is to start owning your voice. Okay. Phase number 2 is own your voice. Now, what I mean by that is that's where you start to refine it. Because now in the beginning, in phase 1, finding it, you put most of your energy into saying, am I actually going to say yes to speak in public or not? When you move to phase 2, it's an automatic yes. The question is, how are you going to show up? What do you want to work on? And that's the second phase. When you get into that owning it phase, this is about you refining your delivery. This is on saying, okay, I'm good, but how can I become better? And that's where we use tools. Myself, I use tools like video. You start speaking on bigger stages. You start to refine your delivery. You start to track what works, what doesn't work. You get more comfortable. And a big piece of that second one about owning your voice is about finding your authentic voice. Because phase 1, most people go up and it's such a big journey for you to say yes that in order to do so, a lot of people are armored up. And what I mean by that is they show up, but it's not the real them. They might put on a persona. It's a fake voice. It's not really them. Well, once we get into the phase 2, which is about owning your voice, that's where you start to see, well, what does my authentic voice sound like? What do I really want to say? What is my truth? What is it that I want to say more than anything on these stages? What do I truly believe? Who do I want to work with? What impact do I want to make in the world? That's so exciting where we get into that second phase. So that's the second part of it, is we start to refine and just keep on working on your delivery. Okay. Now, once you've hit that and you keep going, this is where a lot of people get stuck. So I've had clients in the past where they'll come in and they get to phase 2 and they'll say, look, I can get up there. I'm pretty comfortable up there and I'm getting better. But this is what separates. Most people get stuck at the second phase, and it's a mindset thing. Because you look at it, you go, look, I'm good. I go up there, I can speak my truth. I can say yes to opportunities. I do a pretty good job. And great. That is amazing. That is an amazing skill to have. It's better than a lot of people. But in order to go to the third phase, it requires a different mentality. And so I've noticed some disconnects too, because this can be a really confronting place. So for example, I remember I had a client that I was working with, and he told me his goal is to do a TED Talk. Not a TEDx talk. TED Talk. I've done TEDx. I've coached TEDx for many years. That takes, I'd say 3 years at least to get there. For the average person, if you have an idea, to put in the time, to build up, to apply, to refine your idea, to get the reps in, to get the stage time needed to get there. And I said to him, I go, look, this is a long journey. If that's actually your goal, you're going to need to put in a lot of work. It's going to be a mindset shift that you have to take on. And what happened was we stopped working together because the mindset was off. Okay. Once I see people start to get complacent, they go, oh yeah, I think I'm pretty good. Pretty good is great for phase 2. But if you want to go to phase 3, which is about amplifying your voice, which that I'm talking about speaking at conferences, speaking on big stages, industry events, something like a TEDx talk. Never mind TED. TED is a whole other animal on sale. I haven't done mine yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows? But that is a whole other animal. But let's talk about speaking at conferences, speaking at industry events, getting on bigger stages. We're talking 150 plus. It needs to go to that third phase. But what needs to happen is it becomes what I call the martial arts mindset. And what I mean by that is a lot of people can go to phase 2. So phase 1 is, I just want to do it and say yes. I'm tired of being stuck. Phase 2 is like, yes, this is good. It feels good for me to share my authentic voice. And they get excited by that. But phase 3 requires a different mindset. It's the martial arts mindset. And what I mean by that is I'm thinking about that Bruce Lee quote where it's that I don't fear the man who's done 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who's done one kick 10,000 times. And when you look at that in terms of the belt system in most martial arts, it's the commitment to the fundamentals, the commitment to mastery, the commitment to do the basics over and over and over again and drill it. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs lose it, because entrepreneurship and business in general, typically it's around learn a skill implement that skill, move on to the next thing. Because we work in dynamic events and dynamic industries where things change, rules change, technology changes. There's always things on the go, so you're always learning. But the martial arts mindset requires you to get back to the basics and just drill it constantly. And that's where I see a lot of people fall off and get stuck in phase two, which is owning their voice, which is great, but that's smaller level. That's maybe small group. That is small group, networking groups, one-on-one. You feel good. You're speaking your truth. But to go to that third phase, which is about amplifying your voice, which is about making an impact in the world, a big impact, which is making public speaking a significant revenue generation aspect for your business, a lead generation funnel, where that becomes an integral part of your marketing. And for my clients that do take this on, it becomes often the number one lead source for them, because so few people have the courage to speak in public, and even fewer have the commitment to commit to that martial arts mindset where they just keep drilling the basics to build that skill set. And this is what happens when I see it. Most people get stuck with the mindset. When you get into that and you're breaking down film, you're constantly reevaluating yourself. You're seeing how you could do it better. The difference that goes there, when you go to amplify, this is where you are beyond yourself, but this is about how can you stand in your power in front of a large audience? How can you feel connected? This is about you making a massive impact in the world. The financial side of it is definitely there when you're in front of big groups, and that's how you grow your business in a massive, massive way. But often goes further. This is about making change in the world, because when you go on there, the speech, the stage, this is where you're able to truly lead a massive group of people to make life-changing decisions that are going to benefit them in the long run. And that's the third phase. So that is where it goes. It takes a radically different mindset. It's a different type of person. That second phase, people can fall off quickly because they're like, oh, I need something new. I don't want to just keep doing the basics. What else? But it's the thing that most people won't do. That's where the rewards are disproportionate. And for you, if you want to grow your business with public speaking, getting to that second phase, owning your voice, can absolutely do it. I've so many clients that have. But if you want to focus on legacy, on impact, on massively driving leads to your business and revenue through speaking on stage, then it requires going to that third phase, which is amplifying your message. And it takes a different mindset, which is the martial arts mindset. So those are the three different phases about how you can grow your business with public speaking. I mean, phase one is finding your voice, just saying yes, putting yourself out there so that your ideal clients can actually see you exist, so they know who you are and know what you can do. Phase two is then where you got to own it, and that's where you stand up, you speak your truth, you start polarizing, you attract your ideal clients, you repel the ones who aren't a fit. And then the third phase is where you focus on amplifying your voice. And this is all about impact. This is about getting onto massive stages, bigger stages, hundreds of people, to truly make a shift in the world, to stand tall. And that's where the ultimate freedom comes in. It's the personal freedom for you to be able to go up there. And if you've ever had any doubts of imposter syndrome or feeling like you weren't good enough, that's where that gets confronted and that gets overcome. And you find out that you were actually strong. And that's the freedom that you truly want, is right there. So I hope that it inspired you to, one, say, yes, I want to grow my business by speaking in public, because in my obviously biased opinion, it is one of the most powerful ways for you to grow your business, because so few people have the courage to get started. And remember, coming back to phase one, this isn't about being good. It's about having the courage to get started. So if you want to get started and you want to fast track it, go over to levelupliving.com. I have programs that are designed specifically to support you to get what you need to get started. And I also have programs to support you on every step of the way through the journey. So whether you're looking to just get started and find your voice, or you're looking to own it, or your dream one day is to amplify it, you see yourself on big stages, leading audiences, changing massive amounts of lives, just know we have you covered. Go over to levelupliving.com, and I'd be happy to guide you on this fit.